Good morning. We'll be starting shortly just to give people a little more time to get logged in. This is VirtualPBX admin training. Hopefully you can see my screen up there showing you our dash support page. If you're a vConsole customer, trainings can be found on the website. We have a recording of the vConsole training available to you there. For Dash customers, if you don't feel you can stay for the whole time, we do have the trainings here. This one right here, the new user training, that's actually the full training that we'll essentially going over today. So you can view that at any time or have colleagues view it if you need other people to be admins on your account. All right, looks like we're at 10 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. VirtualPBX Dash is our new platform. It's been around now about 2 years. It's basically, we took everything we knew from vConsole and updated and made it basically a whole new platform. Let's go ahead and get started. So anyone on the VirtualPBX website, you can click on login. And this first login is for our Dash customers. So this is where you would log in to do any administrative work, setting up new users, adding phones, that sort of thing. This next login, this is for the VirtualPBX web phone. This is for Dash customers. Basically, you can use a desktop browser, currently Chrome or Firefox, to make and receive phone calls. This counts as a VoIP device. And right now, it does not work on mobile browsers. I've tested this, so I know it doesn't. I know we are working on including Safari and Microsoft Edge, although I don't have a time frame for those at this time. And then further down, we have the login here for the vConsole. We'll go ahead and click on the Dash login, opens up a new tab. So your login is going to be your email address, your password, and then your account name, which is normally your company name. And you can click on sign in. And then you get to your dashboard. So this is a snapshot of your system as it stands. So 19 users, these are fully functional users. They have all sorts of user features. They can make use of multiple types of devices, so cell phones, landlines, as well as VoIP phones. These are people you're expecting to make and receive phone calls. Agents are specific to ACD queues. They're typically expected to be receiving calls only. They are limited to VoIP devices only, so a physical VoIP phone, a soft phone, or the web phone. Below that, you have the total devices on the system and broken down by type. Over here on the right is your main numbers. These numbers are what your customers dial to come into your system and interact with your phone system. These all act the same way. They all have the same main greeting. They all route the same way. Below that, you have your fax number. This is for inbound faxes. And then the breakdown of your total phone numbers. Assigned numbers, those are numbers being in use, right? So they actually go somewhere. Spare numbers are numbers you own, but you're not currently using. So like a future expansion or marketing campaign sort of thing. Basically, you have numbers, you don't want to lose them, so you're holding on to them. You are still being charged for them. And then below that, we have the breakdown between, in this case, local numbers, USDID, and then US toll-frees. And then you have the company directory, which you can download. The account ID, that's actually your account number. You can always use that to identify your company to VirtualPBX. We don't typically ask you to read that off to us over the phone, however. Normally, we just need your company name. And then your account realm, which is what you would use for faxing as well as programming third-party VoIP devices. Up here is your caller ID, your company caller ID. So this is what you want to set up. You can choose which phone numbers, your company caller ID name. This is otherwise referred to as CNAM or CNAME. You have up to 15 characters, including spaces. This takes a few days for this to update around all the servers. A couple of things to keep in mind. Not every phone carrier supports this. So if a call routes through a carrier that doesn't support it, then that information isn't passed on down the line. You also can run into a carrier who's having a maintenance issue or something, and for whatever reasons, the CNAME information doesn't get passed on. And just sometimes data can get corrupted. One last caveat to keep in mind is that if the device you're sending the call to already has your phone number programmed into it and has a name associated with it, the device's information will override anything we send to that device. Next, you have the E911 information. This is for emergency services, especially for your VoIP phones. So if they dial 911, this is the address that we send. You obviously want to make sure this is the correct information. And this is something that you are responsible for. And then any changes you make, click on Save Changes. Hold music is a default hold music for the account. Generally speaking, you can upload a WAV or .mp3 file. You want to keep it under 5 megabytes. You also want to make sure that it's encoded in mono, not in stereo. Let's go over to main numbers. Assuming it loads. All right, so up top, you have your main company phone numbers. You have them all here. You can have the settings. One additional setting here is the prepend. This is for use with VoIP phones. You can add additional text or even numbers in front of the caller ID that's going to, for calls going to a VoIP device. Basically gives a heads up to you and your staff about which phone number they came in on or like what advertisement campaign brought them here. Your office hours strategy, you're defaulted at 24-hour open office, but most people choose to do custom office hours. You want to put a check mark next to each day of the week that you're open, and then include your open hours in 24-hour or military time. One thing to notice further down, and let me scroll up to make it a little bit easier to see. Right here, so if your whole office is closed for lunch, you can put a check mark here and then include your lunch hours. And then again, save changes. Office holidays, you can set your holidays up in advance. Main thing to keep in mind is that for anything that has the date changes, so Memorial Day, for example, you're going to want to update that from year to year, or just delete it and then recreate it later. Things like 4th of July stays the same date, you can just leave, for example. And this is, you add either a single day, a date range, or advanced. Single day, pretty self-explanatory. Date range, I have this one here, where you basically put the date beginning and ending. Notice that there's no year. And so the danger here is over New Year's. Since you don't have an option to put a year, the system doesn't know what to do when you go from New Year's Eve through New Year's Day, and it just puts you in holiday mode the whole time, all year. So for that time sequence, we say just do individual day. So one single day for December 31st, and then a single day for January 1st, and then date range after that. And then advanced is like if you want to do like this test one here, the first Monday of every July. Those are the kinds of things you can do with that. Incoming call handling. So you have 3 subtabs: your open hours, after hours, and holidays. If you choose to have lunch hours, you would also have a lunch hours tab up here. And then you have these 3 basic methods. The most common used is incoming call to the virtual receptionist. On the left is your main menu. This is where you create your menu options for your customers to press to navigate through your phone system. So, 1 to sales, 2 to support, that sort of thing. Over on the right is where you handle your main greeting. Text to speech, you just type it in, click update, and I'll be ready to go fairly quickly. You can upload your own file, again, .wav, .mp3. You want to make sure it's recorded in mono. And then you would just find the file and then upload it. If you already have the recordings on the system, you can choose from existing ones on the account. Record over the phone. This is set up to use with a VoIP phone that's currently registered on the account. And then you just enter in the PIN code. And then lastly, you have an option for professional recording. We've partnered with Snap Recordings. All right, click on order, will take you to their site. They have a couple advantages. One, they have like 100 different voice actors to choose from. They have different versions of English. They also have bilingual options. And they also have packages that also include like a mix of hold music and a message. Right, so messages on hold, as well as just the first greetings. They handle their own billing. They send you the file, so then you can upload it to your account. All right, I'm not seeing anyone has joined, so I'm going to go ahead and